Welcome to our camper trailer torture test. The aim of this exercise was to take 6 Mitsubishi tow vehicles and 6 different camper trailers and subject them to the most severe bush conditions we could find. And as you'll see, that's exactly what we got. We'd had a few spits of rain at our bush camp overnight, so as we left Windora, we were driving into quite threatening skies. We weren't worried about the first 100 kilometres because that's narrow blacktop, but the next 260 into the little hamlet of Baduri is formed earth road, and it runs through the channel country, including the famous Diamantina channels. The Mitsubishi traction and stability control systems worked very well. It was frustrating for old-timer drivers who would prefer to have been able to gun the vehicles out of some of the channels because the traction control system restricts horsepower in these circumstances. So it was a bit frustrating to press on the loud pedal and not get much response. But the vehicles kept straight and the trailers kept pretty straight, and we did an excellent job of getting out of survival conditions. It's amazing in this country how quickly the rivers rise after rain and fall when there's fine weather. We were lucky to have a beautiful sunny day after the huge downpour and no rain overnight. So we had an easy creek crossing, escaping from Red Bank Gorge, and headed off for Roma Gorge. Because there was a lot of water lying around, we thought it best to do a recce in the vehicles without the trailers behind them. So we headed up the gorge and found a path that we thought the trailers would be able to get through. Still testing, but not brutal. We found one quite wet patch where Mitsubishi's optional diff lock came into its own. The vehicle was stuck, the lock engaged, and out it came. Having done our recce in the solo vehicles, and we headed up this stony, ripped up river gorge. One particularly lumpy section had the traction control systems working overtime. With all the desert roads closed, we had no option but to travel north to the Gulf country in pursuit of corrugations and bull dust that we need for our test. We took a side trip up to the southern Lost City, which is on the Savannah Way, just to the north of Cape Crawford. And this gave us an opportunity to check out the Pajeros, Challengers and Tritons on some corrugated, dusty road. Everyone was impressed with the ride quality of the vehicles in these conditions. With the trailers in tow, we headed down the Savannah Way. This road was in reasonably good condition, considering the late wet, but was corrugated and quite rough in places, and there was plenty of dust. So we were able to check dust sealing of the Mitsubishis and the trailers and how they handled the corrugated road surface. They all ran beautifully straight and all the drivers were impressed. We crossed many river channels along the Savannah Way, but the deepest by far was the Calvert River crossing. We'd heard about this back in Borroloola, and we knew to expect deep water filled with large boulders, and this crossing had turned back many caravans over the last few days. However, our combination of Mitsubishi vehicles and off-road camper trailers made light work of this deep water crossing. Well, we made it. We've gone from the east coast and now we're on the coast at the Gulf of Carpentaria. And in between has been some bitumen miles, mud, unbelievable mud. The road we were on was shut shortly after we got off it. We've had rocky river beds, dry creek beds, deep water crossings, corrugations, bull dust that you couldn't see through, and all the time the vehicles and trailers have performed perfectly. We've had one loose turbo hose clamp, an easy fix in Alice Springs. We've got a stone chip that's turned to a crack in one windscreen, and we've had a few electrical problems with trailer couplings that have been damaged that we fixed as we went along. Considering the conditions, over 7,000 bush kilometres, the vehicles and trailers have performed absolutely brilliantly. Cooper tyres, can't say enough about them. One puncture on one vehicle, and it's the vehicle that has passenger car tyre casings, so we expected to get at least one puncture on that vehicle. The rest of them with light truck ST and STT tyres have been perfect. A great trip, we had a good crew, we drove sensibly even in the extreme conditions, and the result is a happy, successful trip, no damage, and a great time had by all.